There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all.
This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits. Hey, welcome back to Capes and Lunatics. Today we are celebrating Wonder Woman Day by talking about the Wonder Woman movie. I am here with
Charlie, the Professor Esser.
Phil Parrish.
And then, it's just me, Lowe's health biologist. Minding my own business, nothing different for me today.
It makes me seem pretentious if you all don't have nicknames too.
No, eccentric.
Yeah, I am eccentric. Yes, I am a professor. I profess, so I embrace my identity.
I think today is a happy day for DC, EU fanboys and girls alike.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this movie is having a moment, and I think it's because of the climate of the world, actually, because this is a movie about love, compassion, and doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. And the world could use a whole lot of that right now. And I think that's what has to do with why people are receiving this movie so well.
And I think for the most part, it's sad, but it's the most positive movie, the brightest movie DC's put out yet. And I mean, literally her enemy is Ares, the god of war, and it's still a more upbeat and brighter movie than Batman v Superman and even Man of Steel.
Theory crafting. Yeah. Wonder Woman is actually the Superman of the DCEU.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to say.
Smack dab in World War I, and it's more positive than those other two. It's brighter.
I have said from the beginning that they should have started their universe with Wonder Woman as their Captain America, as their first Avenger, as their first Justice Leaguer. And honestly, to me, the biggest problem with this film, as I walk out of it, is what did she do for the last 90 years?
We'll find out in the sequel, because Wonder Woman 2 has just been greenlit, and Patty Jenkins is actually back to direct it. Thank goodness.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Yep.
Maybe they'll give them a slightly better budget and not totally steal the last scene from Captain America: First Avenger.
A guy named Steve going in, crashing in a plane and going in the ice.
A guy named Steve in a plane, telling the girl that he loves, "I can't
actor's
come
actually
back."
named Chris. Yes, we get it.
But like I said, the one joy of that is that we don't have to deal with Steve Trevor Jr. in the sequel.
Much like Superman Returns. I totally agree. I was very worried about that. But I am bummed that he's dead. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like he should be the Peggy Carter of our universe, where he ages and keeps her that anchor, that humanity.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I just have to say this off the bat. Me and my boyfriend have a meme from Wonder Woman already, and it's could use more Etta, because that's what we kept saying. What's Etta doing right now? She stole my heart. Yeah. I like Etta.
No. You know what? Even better, you put in the meme is her picture, and you put "Give us more candy."
I want candy. Boom, boom.
That's why we do video.
It goes with It's Patty. There we go.
Well, and to that extent, maybe what we'll get in Justice League, fingers crossed, is Etta as our Peggy Carter. Maybe we're going to see freaking 172-year-old Etta sitting there saying, "Oh, Diana, you're going to do this. Let me tell you, I'd love to see that. But don't give her Alzheimer. Just have her be a crotchety old broad.
Unless they're hiding it just from the trailers and stuff. It looks like Jim Gordon's going to be our Peggy Carter.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'd like to see J. Jonah Jameson getting work.
Forever and always now, right?
Yeah, well, hey, he's buff J. Jonah Jameson. So it's like J. Jonah Jameson, he goes to the gym, he became a police commissioner, and now he likes superheroes.
Work out that finger,
man.
But no, we're talking about Chris Pine and nitpicks and stuff. My big nitpick with this movie is him and that indestructible hair. No matter what happened in that movie, that hair stayed perfect. I'm like, damn, what kind of hair gel do they have in World War I?
You don't want to know.
Yeah,
I told you. The rest of him probably died, but I think that hair survived the plane crash, the explosion.
And that's
Justice
what the Nazis
League 3: Revenge of Trevor's hair.
Darkseid's gonna be wearing that hair.
There we go. Chris Pine should play Darkseid. I would actually love to see Chris Pine come back into the universe. I just, there's no way to get him back in now.
Oh, no, it's a comic book movie. Nobody ever stays dead.
Clone, time travel.
Well,
we
unfortunately
actually didn't see a body.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, again, okay, not to dwell too much on yeah, you can see it's not to dwell too much on the end of this movie, because there's actually a whole beginning of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So all the gods are dead now.
Wait, is Zeus dead though? I forget. Did they call out? Did they say Zeus was dead?
Well, theoretically,
they kind of sort of did.
Yeah, theoretically, Diana is Zeus now. Now, why Zeus can't defeat Doomsday all by herself, I don't know. But
old gods, new gods, science.
I told you my theory. I mean, it's weak, but maybe because she could defeat Ares because he's a god from her pantheon, but she can't defeat Doomsday because he's like a creature of science. It's weak, I know, but that's the only thing.
I mean, I guess it works in some structure. My thing about it is just the fact that this was an amazing, awesome Wonder Woman. I wonder where she was in the last movie when it was about the two boys fighting. She was
weighing her options on whether humanity was worth it, I guess.
Well, but she's been weighing it for 90 years, and she gets all through the Nazis.
Well, they played her like Spider-Man in Civil War. They're like, "Hey, you like this taste? Well, here, go see their solo movie coming out next year."
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Honestly, like I said, I mean, we were talking before. So here's my basically grand unified theory of Wonder Woman. She is the Iron Fist of the DCEU in the sense that in both cases, what you have is someone who is outside of the world of men, forced into it, coming from a place of complete naivete, who then develops an understanding of the world throughout the process. It's okay, hon. That's my lovely wife, Diana. Say hi, Diana. Yes, we're on video tonight, hon.
Hi, Mrs. Professor.
Yes. Yeah. So where was I? Yes. The video, it throws me. What can I say? I dressed up, and even I had to make sure I had a nice T-shirt on. Had to,
a fancy shirt.
Yeah, one of my fancies. One of my three fancies. But so anyway, so it's this it's this superpowered Naif who is trapped in the world of humanity, who has to develop. The small children are sword fighting over there. It's appropriate, and then they have to develop. They have to come to understand how much more corrupt the world is, but still decide to fight for it. Likewise, as I think that Iron Fist gets a lot of flack for being the worst thing Marvel has done so far, I think that Wonder Woman is getting a lot of credit for being the best thing DCEU has done. DCEU. Just DCCU, I think is better. DC Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you have to give them credit for like trying to improve? Because one, Man of Steel was. As I understand it, they weren't thinking about a unified universe when they made that movie. So then they're like, oh, let's just make that the first movie now. Then Batman versus Superman, it was dark. And, I think they learned their lesson there. Because Suicide Squad, they kind of started the Suicide Squad was too early. It was too early to do Suicide Squad, but they tried to add humor and say, let's lighten it up a little bit. And with Wonder Woman, I think they're a lot closer to.
I'm going to give you that. I think first, I think Suicide Squad was good character and acting wise. I think its plot was dreck.
Yeah, it was too early. It was too early in the universe.
And I think that the like I said, my biggest nitpick with Wonder Woman is that who the heck is the science advisor at DC?
Oh, no.
I mean, this is Supergirl, and let's just fill the atmosphere with lead all over again. Okay, you make a gas out of hydrogen. The reason you don't make a hydrogen-based gas is because hydrogen is lighter than air, and it disperses quickly. And the reason why gas warfare was so deadly was because mustard gas, chlorine gas, is heavier than air, meaning that it rolled along the ground and filled up the trenches. So it was very hard to escape. You create this small molecule gas so that it gets through the, the gas masks. It's actually going to disperse very quickly. And if you make it a heavier molecule by adding things to the hydrogen to make it stick to the ground, it's no longer going to be a small molecule. So the basic science is bad, and I hate that. And it'd be fine if you're using unobtainium. Some random phlebotinum chemical, like we found this strange glowing green crystal, and it has all these amazing powers for whatever we need it to do right now. That's kryptonite for you kids at home. You can do whatever you want with kryptonite, just like you can make vibranium do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Adamantium, sure, fine, it does that. That works, you know. You can create a made-up thing to do it. You don't have to use an actual element that we all know what it is.
Or even if like Ares had like somehow injected like magic into the
Sure, why not? Let's just say here's some, and for what it's worth, this is what I'm going to give huge props to Wonder Woman 4. Going full on gods, full on magic. No regrets, no looking back. It is a magical universe, and I love that. Killing all the gods in the first movie, though, in which we introduce magic, is kind of annoying. It's like, does that help? No. But
there's still all kinds of other magic in the DC universe, though.
Well, so. Yes, and I would have liked to have seen some more of that.
I would have liked maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, with Supergirl, I think they tried to steer away from it. That's why they kind of killed it. It's like, well, that was one of the problems with that movie, and then we don't need any comparisons to that.
Yeah, but you know what? But you know, I actually thought. Well, actually, in Supergirl, it wasn't magic; it was super science, because what gave Morgana the power was the little orb from the Kryptonian universe or the Kryptonian pocket dimension that Supergirl was from. I've seen Supergirl that comes over to the universe, and then she gets it, and it's basically all cosmic cubey stuff. You know, she thought of herself as a magic user. Morgana thought of herself as a magic user, but really she's just using this hyper advanced Kryptonian
science.
What's
that saying about science that's so advanced? It seems like.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, I understand that. The difference is that in this movie, they made no illusions of that. Ares is the god of war. Mm-hmm. Zeus is the creator of humanity. And it's not like at any time they ever like did a head fake say, well, actually we're secretly Kryptonians, but shh, you know. Yeah, no, it was like, we are the gods, we created humanity, we will destroy humanity because we created them, and we can destroy them because they aren't worthy of our love.
But with all the violence in the world, especially the DCEU, because I mean, look at their body count. Can you permanently kill the god of war?
Well, no, I mean,
and I don't think the gods are permanently dead either. It'll be back to bite us.
Yeah, well, honestly, we're all sitting here debating whether or not Chris Pine is dead. So, you know, let's be clear. This is a comic book universe. There is a real possibility all these people are coming back.
The god of hair.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, I'm Larry Trevor, Steve's identical twin brother.
Or clone.
Or Steve Trevor. I'm his identical cousin.
And Charlie, you said there's no chance of Steve Trevor Jr., but I mean, they did have that one night in the movie, so.
Well, yeah, but that would also make him the son of Diana, and all things being equal, that was kind of a weird moment for me. The idea that they did consummate the relationship, presumably, in that moment, just because it's like, you know, I get the idea that Wonder Woman has never met a man before, but should she really be that man crazy? I mean,
but if she was a man, it'd totally be okay.
No, I don't think it's okay for anybody who has been raised in a world without the idea of heterosexual sex. If we can be honest here, as she said in her discussions of the books of Cleo, or whatever she called that book, that I'm sure. Yeah, you know, that men were not necessary for pleasure, but they are necessary for procreation. So she's been raised in this world, and yet now she's here, so she's going to do this now. To me, given that it seemed very rushed to me.
Yeah, but
honestly,
I mean,
I'm much more happier with Steve Rogers being a perpetual virgin, and he grew up in a world of heterosexuality. You know, I mean, that's the thing is Steve Rogers always wanted to have sex with women, but no one wanted to have sex with him until he got the super soldier serum. And I still say there's like a lot of little super soldier juniors running out there from when he was on tour in the States.
But yeah, I think Lilith will agree that I think that's like DC's like that's their go-to, like in the live movies and the animation, is like they give the hero this romantic interest, so either they get killed off or maimed. Because I mean, look at the Killing Joke animated movie. I mean, Batman never slept with Batgirl until that movie. But
I know. So
it's gonna give us all this feelings,
which of course goes into the whole thing. Now that we've had sex, one of us must die, and it ain't gonna be you, woman. No, it ain't gonna be you. And that's one of these things in this whole thing where it's like, it has to be me who does this. It's like, but I actually am immune to the gas, so maybe I should be the one to blow it up, since I actually will not be hurt by any of this. You know, I mean, how it should have ended kind of writes itself in that moment. Although I do want to see Steve Trevor and Steve Rogers. She's sitting there like, I know someone had to do it. We had to destroy the plane. No, it couldn't have been that other way. I don't care what anyone says. I want those two in the how it should have ended to be fighting in the cafe.
Yeah, but didn't she?
Yes, I know.
Didn't she have to stop Ares? Ares though, because I don't think Steve's not going to stop Ares.
No, Steve isn't going to stop Ares. But quite frankly, at that point, I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking that it could have, I get what Steve is saying. And maybe that's what Steve will say in the how it should have ended, is that, by the way, we're doing video, by the way.
But I mean, what was I going to say? Oh, I saw a review earlier. It summed it up perfectly. It said, it was 3/4 of the movie was beautiful. The last quarter of the movie was Batman versus Superman 2, just with Wonder Woman.
Well, honestly, like I said, the Wonder Woman Ares fight I thought was good. Although I do have to say that every mystery I kind of saw coming.
Yeah,
I knew that Wonder Woman was the God Killer. I knew that. I knew that right away. As soon as, in fact, right when her aunt says, "You must," it says something like "God Killer" to her. And it's like, oh yeah. So it's like, let's hang a hat on it, And then the second I saw Sir Patrick talking about the armistice, I said, "Is that Ares?"
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And honestly, I was actually still waiting for Dr. Poison to be Ares. I knew the general wasn't going to be.
I was waiting her to be Cheetah.
No, it's too early for Cheetah. Maybe we'll get Cheetah in the next one. Here's what I'll say. Like I said, if they do another one, they might do World War II.
No, it's going to be modern day. Yeah.
I hate to think of... Here's the thing. You can't tell me Diana is in the world of men for 90 years. Actually, 100 years, because it's 1918 to 2018. It's 100 years she's here, and she's just chilling at the Louvre. I don't buy that. Because otherwise, go back to freaking Paradise Island, lady. You're in this.
Maybe she was asleep with a magical spell or something. We'll find out. But let's talk about her supporting cast outside of Mr. Here and Chris Pine.
Okay. Yes.
Ragtag team cliche. Go.
Oh, you mean the Howling Commandos?
No, not the Howling Commandos. You have sort of, yeah. Well, you have Face, which is Sam. You have Howling Mad Murdoch, which is, of course, Charlie. And then you have B.A. Baracus as the chief. Now, they're not exact replicants. Samir, who played Samir, by the way? Who played Sammy? Does anyone know?
Hold on 1 second. Saeed Tamoui.
Okay. I liked the character. I liked the show. He very much reminded... You know who he reminded me of? LeBeau from Hogan's Heroes.
Before my time, sorry.
It's still on the air. Learn the heritage of nerdery.
If they haven't, if they don't mention it on Teen Wolf, you don't know it.
Not quite true,
but let me say this, okay? I really thought. I mean, very much reminded me of that. I love this team. I love that they do it. They have the liar, the murderer, and the smuggler, which of course comes to a nice bit about Chris Pine as he's sort of mansplaining the world to our badass Nafe, Wonder Woman, about you have to understand the world's complex.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get mansplaining, but in this case, it was kind of justified because she has been sheltered her whole life.
That's the only way you can make the mansplaining justified is that yes, it's like this. But you know what it is? It is actually. Here's what I'll tell you. It is a perfect storm of Victorianism, where it is yes, this woman who we are certain is intelligent and capable has still been so sheltered that she could not possibly understand the world of men.
And plus, like you said, it was set in around 1918, so
yeah, exactly.
views of men and women were a lot different 100 years ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, what is a woman doing in the room? Who let a woman in here? We cannot allow a woman to be in the room. Because
I mean, if they automatically showed her all this respect, I'd be like, oh, that's not, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
True, except. But here's what I'm going to say. I'd like to think that the Steve Trevor character would have showed her respect if she was not a naif. The way they built up Steve Trevor is he is a man who understands the world. And a man who understands the world is a man who is not filled with prejudice, arguably.
Plus his world was like, he said he's a spy, so he's used to all this subterfuge and all the deceit. She doesn't come from a place like that. With her, everything is laid out in the open, and I don't know if she even knew how to lie.
Well, I mean that is the idea. Is that she is this name. She is Lilo. She is coming into this world completely capable, but unaware of what the world will be. And there's actually a good explanation for this, which is that and this is why I think World War I is this great place to center it. Because in World War I, you have this massive, insane death toll. And what we essentially see when we come in here, and this is what I think is the importance of the Paradise Island scenes, and Diana's mother not wanting her to be trained to be a warrior. And this is, this is the thing. You see all the Amazons, scars all over their bodies. Because even though they are immortal, except of course for their one weakness, bullets, which is like, yes, okay, I'm not gonna get into that just a second, but yes,
them and Daxamites, they're allergic to lead. What can I say?
I guess
it comes from the world of man filled with hate, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah, except they lived like 1,000 years. But bullets, that's our one weakness, It's like, it is weird. But they do all have scars. And you see that they all have scars all over their bodies from all the wars they've fought. And you get this impression that prior to Paradise Island, prior to the exile of Ares, they had spent their whole lives in war and death and murder. And all they want is to make war no more. All they want is for peace. And they don't even want to imagine that Ares is coming back because their entire existence had been war, and war is traumatizing, which again, we see with Charlie, who I think is one of the it is my greatest annoyance about this film, that Charlie never gets a redemptive moment. The one time he freaking chokes as a sniper when he's fighting the other sniper, because the other sniper has, quite frankly, the total advantage on him. And he's also just coming off of a big PTSD moment. He is, he gets this whole thing where he chokes. And then he's like, I thought you were supposed to be the guy who shoots things. And it's like, really, lady? honestly, have you no concept of what freaking PTSD is? Do you have no idea how exactly much of a show of excrement this moment is? Do you have no idea how much you're asking of this poor guy? One moment to find a guy freaking in a bell tower behind freaking rocks with no shelter for his own self to shoot him as he's being shot at himself. And she goes, "Oh, I thought you were supposed to be the shooter." And and I get the reason why that is to show her being kind of a jerk, because it's to show how much she doesn't understand what war is. But it's frustrating that then you never get that moment. Okay, here, say hi. This is Tristan. He's my producer. He likes comic books too. He keeps on wanting me to take him to see the Alien movie. I say it's not a good children's movie.
No, it is not.
No. Okay, come on. All of you out. All of you out. Come on. I love you. Oh yes, Tristan loves
but yeah,
monsters.
the whole thing you're saying with her getting on Charlie's case. That's not the Amazon way. The Amazons are mostly charge head first in the battle and damn the consequences.
Well, yeah, I know, but the reality is that isn't, and you get that actually in Charlie's first scene where she says, "Who would want to kill someone who you don't see?" And it's like yeah. and basically Charlie's view is like, hey, if you ever saw someone die, you'd know why you don't want to see them die.
Mm-hmm.
Because and that is the thing. For Diana, there is the enemy and there's us. And I think one of the great things in this film is that they do build out this fact that, hey, the enemy is us. We have seen the enemy and it is us. When she asks, the chief, which of course is such a wonderfully racist thing to call the Native American character. Who took, it says, well, will you fight for nothing? It says, hey, everything my people had was lost in the last war. It says, well, who took all that from your people? And he says, his people. Chris Trevor, our Aryan hero, it's like, yep, he took it. They took it all, and Samir says, I wanted to be an actor, but I'm the wrong color, and all these things that, it's this complexity that Diana has to absorb and has to absorb rapidly. And I think that is to its merit that they were willing to say, look at these things, and to its detriment that they said, look at these things, now let's do something else, And like I said, a big problem with Charlie is that he never got the chance to actually, I was waiting for him to be the guy who, in that moment of tension, takes the shot. And even doesn't even have to save the day, but maybe just distracts Ares for 1 second. There's a great moment in what's his name? The French comic book artist and writer Mobius. Mobius did a Silver Surfer thing once, and it was a great thing. It's about like in the distant future, after all the heroes are gone, and it's just the Silver Surfer is like the one superhuman left on Earth. And Galactus comes back because Galactus is ready to eat the Earth. And he presents himself as God, and everyone just believes he's God. And then at some point they realize, and all of a sudden all the armies mobilize against him, and they're all going to kill him. And, the idea is that everyone knows they cannot kill a god. But they are dang well going to try. Because you know why? Because we are humans and we try. We know we're going to lose. We know we can't win this fight, but we're going to keep on fighting. And we didn't have that moment for our human characters. It was God versus God, and we never got to see the nobility of humanity in the fact that they were willing to stand up to gods. And I think that was what was missing from this movie. In all of its greatness, and granted, you have that as inherent problem that we can't have the man be a hero in a female-dominated film. Because we want Wonder Woman to be the hero. But then I think we needed a more evolved Wonder Woman if we want Wonder Woman to be the hero. We can't do Wonder Woman's origin from naif to superhero and, because then it's just about gods fighting. And granted that maybe is the DC thing, is that it's always gods fighting. But, I think that was a missed opportunity for it. In a film I liked overall. but I think this is one of the many places where there was a missed opportunity, and not giving Charlie as the damaged character who maybe gets to stand up and maybe die because of it, but to at least stand bravely for that one moment as I am a human being and I will stand up to a god. Not giving him, or even just I will shoot the freaking general because I have him in my sights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or I will shoot somebody because I have him in my sights and I actually can at this moment, just to show that he can be a hero too. I thought that was a missed opportunity.
Well, I don't know. That's what I was going to say. Do you think it would be realistic is if any of the humans took a shot at Ares and 2 seconds later he didn't squish them in the paste?
I think it's very realistic just because clearly Ares could have squished all of them into paste at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's no reason for him to be tolerating any of this nonsense except for the game of it.
Oh yeah, I think he. Well, I think it was part of his
kind of thing, though, the game of it all. So
yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, he was
trying to turn her. He was like, look how evil these humans are.
Join me.
Join the dark side. Yes,
and we will rule the universe as father and son, or as brother and sister.
And you mentioned that
you know those Greeks, they love their incest.
It's different for guys.
Okay. Anyway, but no, you were saying about that general, and it's the DCU. I'm surprised, Lilith, that that breathe, that vapor he was breathing. I'm surprised they didn't make that like an early version of the like Venom or something.
Well, he did get all veiny.
He did.
He get veiny. I actually was wondering if that was like all because it was like looking at that because it's like, is that Doomsday-y stuff because he gets a little bit crystalline, or is it veiny because it's Venom? I think it's a nice mix of everything. That's maybe it's a little bit of Joker, maybe it's a little bit of Joker gas too. You don't know. Maybe it
was a blue pill. I don't know. You got veiny.
That's what it looked like to me.
Well,
I made that joke.
Is there a blue pill in the DC universe?
Sure.
I don't know what color Our Man's pills are. Oh, you're doing a Viagra bit. I'm sorry. See, unlike everyone else, my mind doesn't immediately go to the pants.
Sorry, me and Lil.
We're children.
I
am a professor. I am looking for the higher intellectual meaning in all of this.
You can find a different show then. Have you not met us?
Yes, I know.
Oh,
I love you. Okay.
So I want to talk about Tia's mascara. Okay.
Tia's mascara?
Yes. I didn't like any of it. I'm very upset with they tried to play off the Clay origin and then it turns into the she must never know thing. I'm vastly annoyed with it. We have magic. We could have just went with it.
Well, no. Well, actually, they didn't dismiss the Made of Clay origin. They actually didn't dismiss anything. It
was just a cover story.
Yeah. Well, what did it? So I don't know that Hippolyta actually gestated Diana. I don't think that was actually presented. We know that basically in classic God format, Zeus went and and Wonder Woman was given to them. Now, was Wonder Woman made fully formed of the earth? Was it something that Hippolyta had created, or did she simply come from the sea, like so much foam as Venus does? I know the myths. I am an intellectual, and the Greeks were very dirty people. Well, dirty by Victorian standards. The Greeks was like, yeah, that's what. Hey, you're gonna throw it in the ocean. Something's gonna come out. Anyway, so I didn't find that. But like I said, what I liked about Paradise Island, and I love that Steve Trevor calls it Paradise Island because it just
doesn't want to call it mascara. That's all.
You can't say it.
Neither can I. I get it. I get it. It is Paradise Island. And I liked the fact that, you have this idea of these people for whom war is a memory, but still their purpose. So they fight and train for war, but they never want war to come back. Mm. And the idea about Diana is I don't want her to be the God killer because we know the stronger that Diana becomes, the bigger beacon she becomes for Ares.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that not right now. Go sit down. You don't even like soda, Tristan.
I don't know. They just all felt very stilted and paint by the numbers. That whole little plot right there for me. That was like the downfall. Like for me, that was one of the biggest.
Let me put it to you this way: the other Paradise Island image we have is the Wonder Woman, the 70s Wonder Woman version of it.
Drusilla.
Yeah, well, no, but it's which was a very interesting because it was a much more aware Paradise Island and also a much more powerful group of Amazons. I mean, the one time the Nazis do come, they do actually manage to take it over only by luck, as I recall. But the Amazons aren't so easily taken out by a couple of random troops. And it does bug me that there was a whole battleship there. Granted, it was lilting, and they never explained why it was lilting. But it's like there were a lot more soldiers there. You know, clearly, if that was the entire Amazonian army, they were completely outgunned because the Germans, that was like two boats of Germans coming in on land, and they actually took out a lot of the Amazons. And why Amazons aren't bulletproof, I don't know. You know, I really kind of felt that the Amazons got a little too easily owned in that scene. That was really bothersome to me. I was waiting for the Amazons to just totally wipe out the Germans, like, you know, boom, you know.
Well, I think you had to show the Germans as like a credible threat. So then the Amazons, you know, some of them had to die, so that their anger was real. Otherwise, it would have been like, you know, what are these flies that came to our island that we just like smacked away in 2 seconds?
And also,
the anger wouldn't have been there. It'd be more annoyance.
With the barrier just ever so slightly being breached.
Yeah. Also, that also bugged me was how easily the
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is it just like camouflage and it doesn't like keep anyone out? So like,
apparently so. I mean, I think that is actually what it's supposed to be. It is only supposed to be like a camouflage, but it's supposed to be better camouflage than that. I don't know.
But I mean, in the whole history of Paradise Island, no one sailed in that direction and accidentally discovered that island.
No man, apparently.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think it's a little bit like Skull Island. If you go, you know, if you remember the 80s King Kong, where it's just this weird moment where the island is always covered by fog. And of course, you don't want to sail your ship into fog because there could be rocks there.
It's in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. Well, no, but if you think icebergs are bad, wait till you run into rocks.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there is a reason why you don't just sail your ship into fog. And arguably, you could make the point that the captain probably should have sailed his ship into fog. And when his little boats went out and didn't come back, he was like, "Okay, let's get back to high command, shall we?" Yeah, you know. So, but having the ship come into the harbor, I felt was a little problematic. You know, but that's. I mean, you know, these are minor nitpicks.
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
are like. Steve Trevor's hair. I don't mind Steve Trevor's hair, expressly for the same reason I don't mind that Captain America always wears his uniform and his shield underneath his coat. I don't mind that Wonder Woman had full friggin' Wonder Woman armor underneath an evening dress without it having anything except for the sword.
Fabric was back then, though. That's possible. Oh, speaking of that scene, hold on 1 second. I have a rant.
Okay.
Oh no, she's gonna get a prepared speech.
Getting props. Okay.
If you bought this, that ruined the damn scene for you.
Why did that ruin the scene?
I was like, oh, the blue dress. Okay, that's where I came. I hate when they do that. It's just like when they ruined.
That was in a trailer. You knew she was going to do an evening gown scene.
I don't do the trailers. I'm just saying, like, this was like, the toys ruined it.
No, you see the trailers online. You've edited your trailers online.
How did that ruin it? What, you didn't want to know she was going to wear a blue dress at some point?
Yeah, I didn't want to see her all dressed up. Bum me out. Speaking of which, that montage. Did Wonder Woman need a fashion montage? It pissed me off.
Yeah.
I know.
That was pretty silly.
That did seem out of place to me. I was like, wait a minute.
Way too long. This is not Pretty Woman. This is freaking Wonder Woman, okay?
Yes.
I know. It just seemed weird because, where they're all about, the power of women and, they're not just... they're not just you know.
It was a scene written around one joke entirely, and the joke was Etta said when Wonder Woman looks at the whalebone corset and says, "Is this what passes for armor for you women?" And says, "No, it holds our tummies in, or holds our bellies in." And she says, "Why would you want to hold your belly in?" And he says, "Only a woman who doesn't have a belly would ask that question," which is, of course, both a fair statement since Wonder Woman has no belly, and an obvious bit of crazy, fashion misogyny. No, what it is they didn't want to put her in the 1940s Diana Prince outfit right away, obviously. And so they had to build to that, because what you see her in with the hat and the suit and the glasses is exactly what she wore. So it was this big effort to get to what would have actually just been much easier just to put her in that outfit first. Say, you need to wear clothes that...
who is unobservant says, "Why the hell does Wonder Woman have a fashion montage in it?"
Yeah.
It's glaring. That's all I'm saying.
It was very glaring, and it was very stupid. And it was a waste of time that could have been put to story and exposition.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're going to sell a bunch of toys with each outfit.
You know what? The collector's book doesn't have any of those outfits in it, so it was a waste.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was mostly a gag scene. That was so that they could have her look how she doesn't like the clothing of 1918 women, and look how silly the outfits were that women wore in 1918.
Nobody liked it in my theater showing, by the way. Nobody liked it. Everybody groaned.
No.
Just the thought.
It was. No one is saying it wasn't ridiculous, Lilith. No one is disagreeing with you.
They wanted their Clark Kent moment, but they took like 20 minutes with the stupid fashion show. What they say, like 200 outfits or something. It's like
which is ludicrous. They even make that as a statement.
And the picture they're painting
as a statement.
And the picture they're painting of this warrior woman, you think she would really stand around and try on 200 some outfits?
Not only that, but not for nothing. It's not like it would have been that hard. First off, what she was wearing at the start, which was a cloak, wasn't that bad.
No.
You could wear a cloak in 1918. Now, granted, if she whips off her cloak and she's wearing her metal bikini, maybe people are going to look askance.
Yeah. But yeah, cloak, a trench coat, something. As long as the armor's covered, yeah.
She was fine. And she's still wearing the metal bikini underneath it. So, and not a bikini, I mean a one piece with a skirt. A Xena warrior princess outfit.
I think two scenes slowed that movie down. That scene and the scene on Paradise Island where she couldn't take her eyes off Steve's watch.
Yeah. But no, I'll give you all fairness. People did giggle a lot at that scene in my showing, and I was just like, I'm not surrounded by 12-year-olds. This is ridiculous. They were like, no kids in my showing.
I thought that was a cute scene. I liked it. Was.
I think you could have like cut it down a little though.
Yeah. And I love my shirtless shoulder.
See, your mind went there this time, Charlie. No, I was being serious. They could have made that scene shorter.
No, they could have definitely made the scene shorter. They could have, but here's the thing: they wanted to have their humor.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to have humor in the scene. They wanted to have humor in the dang movie. Because they get this whole thing is like, why do you have to be so dour all the time? Superheroes are a fun genre.
Not so serious is what you're supposed to say, Charlie.
Well, I think that was the big thing. They wanted all this humor. The scene and with all the 200 outfits, that scene, they wanted humor because they wanted to say, okay, everyone, come back. This isn't Batman v Superman.
Here's what I'll tell you: the Steve Trevor Paradise Island, what is that scene? Is more than enough humor for the movie. They didn't have to do a montage.
You're right.
Because I felt that was all a very organic thing, especially where it's like, I'm a little above average. Are you average for your speed?
I thought it was very good that it was only a PG-13 movie too. That they didn't go. Patty Jenkins didn't want to go for the R rating.
No, because she said she wanted the young girls in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, yeah, and not for nothing. Well, I will say I did want to see more decapitations. She's got a sword, and she's a Greek warrior. Greek warriors always go for the throat.
On Paradise Island, I could have seen it, but in the real, when they're, behind enemy lines, that's going to draw a lot of attention. Even in World War I, the decapitation. Although
I understand. Please, I'm in the middle of something.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
So you can't hear everything they're talking to me. My son gave me a lollipop, saying I can enjoy it too. Oh, it's butterscotch, which is my favorite. One of my favorite lollipops.
Now we need a P.O. box so everybody can send Charlie butterscotch.
Yes.
His kids will be like, yeah.
I have a house full of children. I'm sorry, and unfortunately, my children are not small that you can put somewhere. Mine wander around with abandoned and.
It's okay. Makes it part of the fun.
Yes,
okay. But we're talking about all these
you
scenes.
You can't send children to obedience school like you can with pets, Lilith. This is why Lilith understands the way to live your life. Have something that if you need to, you could put down if it gets out of
like dogs and boyfriends.
We're on YouTube now. I can't be saying stuff like that.
It could be used against her in a court of law.
I'm just saying set it in the corner. No, I don't mean in a euphemistic way. I just mean set them down. Put them somewhere else. And they'll stay there. Children don't stay where you put them.
Anyway, back to Wonder Woman.
I do love children.
All these scenes we had problems with. You know what scene I really like might have been my favorite is the part where she charters across the battlefield.
No Man's Land. How apropos.
And I'm going to give them props for not saying I am no man.
And I was like, no Game of Thrones moment, please don't. You are not a Khaleesi. You are Wonder Woman.
I was waiting for it because ever since J.R.R. Tolkien did that bit, no man can destroy me. I am no man, and that is. I mean, it was great when J.R.R. Tolkien did it, but it got cliche. But I'm glad that it is implied, even as it is not said. It's sort of like where Peter Parker doesn't say "great power, great responsibility" in Spider-Man, but we all know what he's saying. He says it without saying it. Although I still want some Batman version, either Gotham or Ben Damon. Ben Damon to say it in his movie, or Matt Affleck, whichever his name is. I want him to say, criminals are a cowardly and superstitious sort, because it hasn't been said there, and so it needs to be said there.
Ooh. Speaking of which, the trailers for Justice League, where he's like, "What's your superpower?" I was waiting for him to say, "I'm Batman." Instead, he says, "I'm rich." I'm like, son of a...
No, I mean, honestly, at least it was honest about it. I mean, that is his superpower. He is rich, insanely rich in a way that makes you think that he is murdering children for money. Because you don't get that rich in a capitalistic society and always make the right choice. Yeah, no, not for nothing. Well, no, Lucius Fox gets his hands dirty. Bruce Wayne just buys toys, that's Bruce Wayne, But yeah, I am so not in love with Batman in this current DC.
And we can wait for the Justice League movie to talk about that.
Yeah, although I do like Aquaman.
That's going to be so epic. You guys don't even know.
Yeah. No, you know what? Because honestly, I finally understand what they were going for with Smallville's Aquaman when they did that whole, the whole Brosif Aquaman in Smallville. That was like, why are they making him be such a jerk? And then they do it here. Now I get it. Now I see what they're doing. Now I see what that was supposed to be.
Only because it's Jason Momoa and he pulls it off a little better than our...
He pulls it off a lot better. I actually think the guy who eventually played Green Arrow probably could have done it in this series, but I think that one actor ruined it. The first Green Arrow, not this Green Arrow that you guys all like.
Justin Hartley. Yes, I love Justin Hartley. If you love Justin Hartley, please watch This Is Us. Sorry, shameless plug.
Okay.
I don't know for no reason.
Yes, but he was in the original Aquaman pilot.
Yeah, I know. I have it. I love it. It's one of my favorite things ever.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's very good. But but that other guy, I think, killed that thing for him. That they couldn't even change the actor and save it because nobody wants to see Brosif Aquaman.
Just look at the smile on Lilith's face. She's like, once everyone sees how awesome Aquaman is in Justice League, she's like, I'm vindicated.
On my train.
I'm vindicated.
Ain't no room for the haters. Turn to the motivators. Sorry.
I've always liked Aquaman. The man controls all aquatic life.
Do you want me to stab you in this movie theater right now?
He is the Professor Xavier. You know when I first fell in love with Aquaman? Friends. And
I can see that.
he and Wonder Woman are trapped in this thing that's sinking, and they're like, for whatever reason, they needed to get more water in. And Aquaman says, I know what I can do. And he like communicates to the microorganisms that live in the water and commands them to rush in, which brings more water in that like alters the air pressure in some way that they can escape. And it's like, that was awesome. That was like just this idea that, oh yeah, I can control every microorganism that lives in water. Which when you expand it, it's like, that is an insane amount of power for a human being, for any creature to have. It's like he's like an organic molecule man when it comes to anything that lives in water. It's pretty freaking cool. Aquaman is an awesome character. You know, honestly, the entire reason I think people think he's weak is because there was one episode of the very first group of Super Friends where he's talking to the guy on the oil rig who's just yelling at him because the oil is coming out looking like orange juice because someone has been extracting the base elements from the earth. And so the oil is like not good. And the guy's like, you know what this country on? The country runs on oil. This ain't oil. And Aquaman's just like, I'm listening to you, buddy. I'm just dealing with it. And he's basically being a customer service guy in this moment because he's the guy that can swim out to the oil rig for the guy to yell at him. And he's like just being a polite, decent human being. And because he's a polite, decent human being in the Super Friends, people like think Aquaman isn't cool. But every other time Aquaman is on screen, he actually does pretty cool stuff where he's commanding massive leviathans or microscopic organisms that could go inside your body and eat your brain if he so wished it. You know, you think about that. Like, think about that for a moment. That, oh yeah, you know those little clear parasites that live in water that eat your brain or that turn you into zombies? I could make them all crawl inside you right now. You would have no power against me because I am Aquaman. Also, I have superhuman strength and super speed. I just don't use it that much.
Also, the Justice League looks like it's actually leaning into Gal Gadot, which is one of my theory crafting about she is actually the Superman of the DCEU.
Yeah.
Because
well,
I liked what I saw.
Well, I mean, I know we're gonna get Superman, resurrected in Justice League. Spoiler alert! But it seems like they're playing. Are like Batman and Wonder Woman going to be like the mommy and daddy?
Yes, definitely.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't think Batman being I'm not convinced Batman is going to be the daddy. And in fact, I very much think Batman's role is getting diminished. So long as Batman is played by, like I said,
well, yeah, he blew it, but that's another conversation.
No, I just don't think anyone's going to sit there, especially with Joss Whedon taking over. You know, and this is, I think, an important thing there because we got to remember Joss Whedon actually like wrote a whole Wonder Woman thing that was supposed to be good, but DC said no, we don't want to do it. I don't know if it was good, but they say it was good, and it wasn't. That's fine. That's fine. You know, people didn't like Avengers either. So, well, Age of Ultron they didn't like, but you know, but I know that Warner's kicked themselves after Avengers was such a hit, and they were like, "Dude, we had that guy to do Wonder Woman, and we could have built our entire universe around his Wonder Woman, and maybe it would have been this great thing." But
I don't think the world was ready at the time, which is why they kind of vetoed it, and they wanted to go to a different direction eventually.
Yeah, but we're going to get him in there, and I think it is going to be very Wonder Woman centric, which should be good so long as Gal Gadot. You do pronounce the T. Gal Gadot is. You can look it up online. There's a whole YouTube video with her telling people how to pronounce her name. You do pronounce the T. That with Gal Gadot as the center, I worry about Gal Gadot whether or not she. You know, I don't know if I don't know if it was that she didn't get enough of a script or she was poorly directed. There are many scenes in this where I'm like, are you good at what you're doing as an actress? I know you can do the physical. And there's a lot of things you can do that is really well. And there's a lot of things that I think are working out great in this. And honestly, there's a lot of time. And honestly, it's a weird thing because I noticed this with like other actors I know for whom English is not their first language. When they do a silent scene, they get really emotive with their face, and they do a Buster Keaton, you know, sort of like what Black Bolt is doing, and it kind of takes it away from me a bit especially because I do think of Wonder Woman as, I don't know if I want my Wonder Woman to be full of wonder at the world. Maybe it's appropriate.
Well, the first movie you almost need it. You needed to fall in love and also be angry and, go through the range and it means kill them. So
like you were saying, Charlie, about the 90 years, what was she doing? I mean, maybe she's studying the world. So, in Justice League, she isn't so naive and, she...
Well, no, she took a nap. She fell under an evil spell. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it till they prove me wrong.
No, well, I mean, I'm guessing what she did was she was like a acquired superhero. So like she would go and she'd take out a dictator. Basically, I think that what they're going to have is she's been Black Widowing for the past 90 years. She hasn't been going out, and she took a lesson from Charlie and just killed quietly rather than rushing into battle.
She put on a white suit and did kung fu.
You shut your mouth. That is the worst hero of Wonder Woman ever.
That was not the worst era of Wonder Woman.
That was the worst era of Wonder Woman.
I don't know.
Terrible. Defeats the purpose of Wonder Woman.
But no, literally, I think she's probably sitting around. Yeah, she might be doing stuff behind the scenes, but I think she's like acquiring wealth and knowledge, and she's pushing stuff in the right direction, maybe without even getting her hands dirty. Literally.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to think that I'd like to think in the most dangerous parts of the world. And that's the thing. Maybe she's not going to Gotham to stop some freaking mugger who happens to kill a couple of rich people in a hallway, leaving their son an orphan.
You shut your mouth.
But what? Probably people that don't have a really easy life, like, people in some place where people are being taken as modern day slaves or murdered to make way for oil fields. Maybe she's been killing people there. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's been actual real evil she's been fighting instead of beating up on mentally ill cripples for the last few years in Gotham.
What are you talking about? Gotham's healthcare system.
Well, I'm talking about, gonna beat up on some fat guy who thinks he's a penguin, go beat up on some little skinny nerd who likes to tell riddles, instead of just, maybe being a police officer and giving your intellectual acumen to them. If you're so intent on beating crime, maybe just assisting them and well, actually what his riddle means is this, so let's go here, and then we can arrest him, read him his Miranda rights, put him on trial for the crimes he has committed.
Listen to you, the biggest fan of Superior Spider-Man, talking about guys should go be a cop and read Miranda rights. Otto Octavius is the biggest fan over there.
And that's why you should love Nightwing, because he's
that's because Otto Octavius was a supervillain. Mm-hmm. And a supervillain who uses supervillainy for good is theoretically a net positive.
Well, who said Batman's not a supervillain? He just wasn't labeled correctly.
Owlman proves that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Entirely possible.
Did you have a favorite scene though, Charlie?
I'm sorry. My favorite. Oh yeah, I do have absolutely a very favorite scene, and it is when Dr. Poison has her mask ripped off, and she is weak, and Ares is asking Wonder Woman to kill her, and that is the perfect moment of what this whole thing is about, because it's about how humans are damaged by war, how humans are damaged by the vices of hate and divisiveness and cruelty that Ares has encouraged in them, and Ares can say, "Hey, I just gave them the bombs. I didn't tell them to blow each other up." But you give a child a gun, you can't be that surprised you got shot by it. Mm-hmm. And when she sees Dr. Poison, who throughout this entire thing has been played as the biggest sociopath, and in fact, honestly, Dr. Poison is probably one of my favorite characters in this film. I loved the scene with her and Steve Trevor, where Steve Trevor is trying to basically honeypot her. And then she sees Steve Trevor's eyes look up at Diana, and she realizes, oh, you're freaking honeypotting me. Okay, I got no time for you. I loved that. I love that even though she liked the attention, which she probably isn't used to because she does have a freaking thing on her face. I like the fact that even that once it became clear what was happening, she was happy to just freaking turn it around on him and just say, talk to the hand. And then when you see her in that moment of vulnerability and you realize she is a scarred human too. And Wonder Woman realizes, I'm not going to be the bully. I have power, but I'm not going to go destroy these humans just because they don't deserve me doesn't mean that I will not fight for them. And that, I think, is the moral lesson of the movie. Is like, the world doesn't deserve heroes. But what makes you a hero is that you fight for humanity even when they don't deserve it. And that was a beautiful thing to me.
Yeah.
What
my
was your
favorite
favorite
scene? My favorite scene since I read the script has to be the coming together of the picture that sets this movie in actually her presence of being in Batman versus Superman all together. Like, I love that whole thing. After No Man's Land, they take the picture. Now the team, they feel like heroes and they want to go forward with her. They believe in her. I like it.
Yeah. And then they murder the whole town.
Well, it's DC.
Yeah.
You can't have a happy ending.
Gotta have a body count.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true. It's like a mandate.
But like I said, I love that her charging across the battlefield. I love that. What is that? That main theme music, like her.
Oh, when that kicks in, you know it's getting real. But they didn't use it in the fight against Ares.
They should have.
They should have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the Wonder Woman theme, the cinematic Wonder Woman movie theme.
It was. Honestly, I was a little soft on the movie when I was walking out of it because of the science advisory. Honestly, I think if they had better science advisors, I would have been fine with this film. But, I do have a big science nerd aspect to me as well. And so when science is bad, I get mad. Because it's like, I'm not a professional scientist, but I know you're using bad science. And, it's not that hard to do good science fiction by simply not making it tied to real science. But they didn't. But anyway, I still loved this. I still loved the movie. It was very good.
Professor Smash, bad writing.
Well, not even bad writing. It's just bad science. Honestly, every movie has its moments where you go, huh? Like, I still don't know why Steve Trevor didn't want Wonder Woman killing the General and Dr. Poison there. It's like, what are we solving killing them right here since we're right here?
Because we needed more time. We got.
Well, I think he was worried about the whole armistice thing, and he was just like, let's take out the weapon and the gas so they can't kill anybody while it's going on. But if you kill him, the war's going to keep going.
But it's not like Wonder Woman is actually a U.S. or Allied agent.
Yeah, we'll try to tell the other side. The other side that.
As far as they know, she's just some Israeli with a time machine who went too far back. And she said, well, I'm here. Let me kill this Nazi. He may not actually be an official Nazi, but he's pretty much a Nazi. So
yeah, but do you think they believe the truth anyway? They'd be like, oh, some woman killed our general? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but nobody knows Steve Trevor's there. All he has to do is fade into the crowd like a proper spy does and wander away. I don't know how crazy lady with the sword was. Woo! They got crazy, didn't they?
Someone would remember that hair.
No, I mean, I get that you needed it for the story. It just seemed forced to have him stop the murdering when we know we need to murder these guys.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it is hypocritical. Yeah, don't kill that general. Meanwhile, he brings a professional sniper with them.
Well, yeah, but who never gets the chance to murder the general, and he gets him in his sight several times, and it's like, we don't want to murder the guy, right?
No killing, but hey, I brought at least one killer with me.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's not like they're opposed to killing him. They just never really articulated why we don't want to kill him. And that's the thing, is there was like a real reason that we could say, oh, we don't want to kill the general because, but no, we just said, we're not going to kill the general because we said so. And it's like, or I guess arguably because the general said so, but the general told him not to go to the gala in the first place. So it's like, we're already, or not the general, Ares, Ares told him, don't go to the gala. But they go to the gala anyway, so why are we now worried about what Ares is going to think? what is it, Minister Patrick, or what is it, or whatever?
Sir Patrick.
Sir Patrick, yes.
I don't think they were worried about his opinion. I think they were worried about prolonging the war and making it worse. I mean, I get your points, but yeah I think that was the whole point.
And can I say my childhood is traumatized because isn't that Arthur Weasley like the best dad ever?
I'm sorry, what happened now? Who is this guy?
Harry Potter? Oh, I forgot I'm the only Potterhead here.
Oh, yeah. Well, sorry.
Cry for me in the comments, please, Potterheads.
Well, here's my question. Is there any, Lilith, you're the biggest Wonder Woman fan here. Is there any story anywhere where Ares had a mustache even under the helmet?
But he's British, so
I know, but I was just like,
I mean, honestly, that's very period appropriate.
No, he didn't have a mustache.
I mean, I see him had it before, but once he like changed forms or whatever, you would think it would go away. But I still, it took me kind of out a little bit. I see that mustache underneath the helmet, I'm just like, oh.
Well, he just grew it out,
It's the Tea Saver flavor. He was British for a long time, playing the guy. So you know.
Well, what was weird is just the idea that he looks the same when you go back into the past, except he's like super buff. That was like the weirdest thing to me, is that he's like a little guy, but then they make him all super buff as a guy. I think it would have been cooler if he just was doing it all in a 3-piece suit. That would have been, just like, I'm a god. My physical form isn't really what's important. I'm a god, I'm a god of war, and war is made by men in suits, not men in armor. Boom.
True.
He was the origin of the porn stash.
So grade. Let's leave on a high note.
I'm going to give this film. Okay, are we grading on a curve or are we grading for actual film?
You can grade however you want. You can just explain it. Okay. What's your rubric?
So if we grade based on the whole class, including Supermen's and Justice Dawns and Suicide Squads, we're going to give this film a very solid A. If we just weigh the film just as it is, I am going to go B+, because I think that there were honest, real criticism that can be laid at this film. It was a good film. It was a decent film, and I certainly enjoyed it. If I was a Wonder Woman fan, I would be seeing it like at least 2 more times. That's what I'll tell you. If you're a Wonder Woman fan, this film was awesome. If you're just a guy walking into it, it's like, oh, this is a good film. This is a good superhero film. I really like a lot of aspects of it, but there are enough nits to pick to sit like popcorn stuck underneath your tooth at the end of the movie. It's like just something that, that really, but it's still a good film. So I give it a B+ on its own. But for the DCEU, this is a very solid A, bordering on A+.
Okay, so
grading on a curve.
Well, he stole my answer. I was going to give it a B+ also, because I think it's good. Like I said, I think DC is going in the right direction as long as they can keep that momentum going. I think it's, they're heading in the right direction as long as they keep improving as they go on. Because I think, what have we had this year so far? Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think it could hold its own against Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a comparable film.
200 million worldwide open. It's doing good. Record breaking Friday at $39 million.
And even quality too. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. When's the last time you could say a DC film could hold a candle to a Marvel
that wasn't
film?
Animated?
Exactly.
Okay, just so we're clear.
No, Lilith. They do say popularity is the hallmark of mediocrity.
I agree with that a lot of times, especially when it comes to just saying.
That's a Niles Crane quote.
All right. Now let's get the harshest critic. What was your grade?
Ooh, me? Little old me? I gave it an A-.
Oh,
okay.
And it's only because it's the DCEU bar. Like I would have given it a B- had this been the first movie. Okay. But where it comes, it's just like, oh, thank God we needed this breath of fresh air. Okay. I don't know. I don't really know if Gal Gadot can carry a movie. Like I'm still confused. I don't know.
I think this would have been a decent first movie in the series, but then if they would have went to Batman Superman after this, we would have been like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Honestly, what they probably should have done is done Wonder Woman and then like maybe a couple more Wonder Women, sort of like Iron Man. You actually had you had the Hulk in the middle of there, but we don't talk about the Hulk.
That.
We don't talk. Even the people in Harlem don't talk about the Hulk. They talk about what happened down. We're like, did the Hulk come here? We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. But you had two solid Iron Men. You had two solid Iron Men before you even got to the Avengers. Oh, and that was actually a mistake because I said that the distance between Black Avengers and Wonder Woman, but actually it's really the distance between Iron Man 2 and Wonder Woman, because that's where we first meet Black Widow. That's where we first really fell in love with ScarJo as Black Widow and said, oh, so that's who should be the hero of the Marvel universe. And then we don't see her again for a while. But they did give us Peggy Carter in First Avengers, so we'll give them that.
I think that Wonder Woman might pave the way for Marvel to finally wake up and do a decent job if Scarlett still wants to be Black Widow.
No, I'm
Marvel. Yeah, but are they going with Captain Marvel as their Wonder Woman though? Because that is coming.
Yeah, I do think that the window of opportunity has kind of shut on the Black Widow film. Mm-hmm. Just because I think the window was earlier, and I think that ScarJo is too big of an actress. I mean, Ghost in the Shell, she didn't open as strong as she should have.
That's in of its own self something completely different though.
Well, no. Ghost in the Shell had its own problems. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the woman can only do so much. I mean, she could open Lucy, but Lucy didn't cost that much.
Exactly.
Lucy was a weak film that she made into a hit. Honestly, I don't know who is clamoring for freaking a Ghost in the Shell movie. The second Ghost in the Shell movie that they've done, by the way, because there was another live action Ghost in the Shell that was like a while ago, but nobody even remembers that. I mean, I'd love to see. I mean, I still want to see a Black Widow film, but I would love to. There are so many great characters for Marvel to focus on. I do understand why the cost prohibitiveness of a Scarlett Johansson, of basically having a second Robert Downey Jr. in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is worrisome for them.
True.
Because that is it. That is what it is. Is that Scarlett Johansson, if she does a Black Widow film, is essentially a second Robert Downey Jr. and they can barely afford one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I kind of get the feeling that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be much like Scarlett Johansson has been, which is the person who's also in this film, so that to come see it. Mm-hmm. In the same way that she was in the Captain America movies, so that to come see these movies. Because these are good. We have a ScarJo. You want to see this film.
So Batman,
Robert Downey Jr. or ScarJo in any Marvel film going forward.
So Batman's like that for the DCU. So he's
the Bat flick is a detriment, though.
Yeah, that's the way they've been using him. But for going forward, are they use Gal Gadot then?
We'll see how Justice League does and move it forward from there. I think it's actually it goes Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, and everything else is still up in the air. Like Justice League still has that Batman versus Superman kind of darkness to it.
I actually think that Aquaman could be, because I think that the Aquaman actor maybe is a better actor than Gadot. Because, and like I said, we haven't really seen Gadot. He
doesn't even have to be though. He's good looking, like really.
Well, but no, Gadot is really good looking too. I'm sorry, she's an incredibly good looking woman. She is incredibly good looking.
But so is Jason Momoa.
I'm not saying Jason. Well, honestly, I'm not into the big. I have a beard, but the big scraggly beard, it doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I know some women like it. For me, it's like that's a lot of hair, and I know because I have facial hair, how much of a pain that is to maintain, to work with. It's just like, it's always in everything you're doing. You know how much trouble a mustache is, how often you got to trim that back, because it's just always in everything you're doing. Trust me. So, all
right, if you're done slobbering over Jason Momoa, Charlie, all right. All right.
He's a good-looking man. I'm not going to say he's not a good-looking man. I'm just saying I don't like that urban primitive look.
Yeah. Well, here's another issue with Justice League. Is it going to be a detriment? Is it going to help, or is it not going to matter?
Is that going to matter?
Well, no. The Flash. Does it going to hurt it, help it, or not?
Is that actor?
It's a different actor
anymore? Because I know that like switching actors.
They lost their directors.
They've been losing directors left and right for the Flash solo movie. But yeah, I think
they need to keep that Flash movie and just leave him alone in the Justice League.
They should have just brought Grant Gustin in from the TV show. No?
Grant's a great TV actor, don't get me wrong, but he cannot hold his own on that ensemble cast on the big screen. Like, that's just my personal opinion. Yeah. He's a TV actor. There's TV actors and there's movie actors.
They should have
the 80s anymore.
They should have seriously, that would have put more butts in the seat, I swear, if they would have brought him and a melon. Brought him, Flash and Arrow from
Iris too, so I mean they might as well at this point.
Exactly. The Flash solo movie is supposedly,
Reverse Flash!
Just like the TV show, right? Yeah, Black Iris, Reverse Flash. The dad's in prison, isn't he?
When you say Black Iris, that sounds like it's a supervillain. Or possibly a superhero.
Sometimes, not gonna lie. As much as I love Candace, the way they write that character.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it makes it sound like that's like the character. No, either he's teaming up with or fighting the Black Iris. We don't know.
Depends on the season.
yeah, she was a character invented in the 70s. Yeah, Black Iris.
What? I'm just saying. I know what you're saying.
Ginger Iris and then there's Black Iris, just like Ginger and Black. That's how we differentiate. I'm sorry.
Oh, now Ginger Iris, that sounds like an interesting character too. That should be like a team up. Black Iris, Ginger Iris.
Where are we?
It's the Daughters of the Dragon all over again, where you have an Asian woman who's actually is a redhead. I still don't know if Colleen Wing was originally supposed to be Asian in the comic books because she had red hair.
It can happen. It's like a 1 in 200. No, never.
No, actually, red hair is common in all groups. Yeah. But it was a weird thing.
Yeah, but hair dye.
Well, Colleen Wing as a character, I was never sure if she was supposed to be Asian or not because it's not even like Wing is
episode.
Oh, Donna Chang, yeah,
Changstein. They changed it from Changstein. Yes.
All right, you can do your shameless plug, Phil. Come on.
Okay. All right. Oh wait, before we go, what are we doing next week? Do you the Gotham 2-hour finale? Do you want to do it next week? I know Lilith is like,
I can't do it. Like I stopped watching at the season, like the mid-season finale, but I hear great things, and I want to know if Aaron Richards is going to be my Harley Quinn. I want to know that, so I'll watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch. I mean, honestly, I haven't stopped watching. I mean, when I say I haven't stopped watching it, I mean I haven't watched it. But yeah, it's not because I don't want to watch it. It's just because who has time to watch anything? Yeah, life. You see the chaos in this house. People walking behind me constantly. Even though I tell everyone we're on video. Please don't walk behind me. You're going on camera onto the internet live right now. I can only do so much.
Live, raw, uncut.
Well, I live in a small urban apartment with a beloved family whom I love in an apartment much too small for the love of No, I love my wife. Don't my wife is wonderful. I do love her.
Still being recorded now.
She is the love of my life, and I'd like to pretend there's some professionalism here, but everyone's in their pajamas, and my children have completely gotten down to their skivvies now.
Case lunatics. I mean, it's.
I'm going to be honest with you. Well, I come from a long line of nudists, so my dad never wore a shirt. As soon as he came home, everything just sat there. He hung out. That was his way. He was German. He was European.
He was the Steve.
Germany, you don't wear. Yeah.
He was the Steve Trevor of his time. I see.
Yes, very much so. Steve Trevor with a big gut, with a big beer gut, but yes, the principle is the same.
All right,
my mom always said that in his youth he actually was like pretty ripped. He was a butcher. He used to like lift huge sides of beef and stuff. So he was very, very ripped, and didn't eat because he was a immigrant kid, couldn't afford to eat, so he's very ripped. And you can tell me whatever you want when I'm done. Yes.
All right, so we want to do Gotham next week, and I don't know. Does anyone want to watch tomorrow night's Fear the Walking Dead premiere? If anyone wants that, I mean, I'll be watching it. If anyone wants to,
I have never seen any episode of The Walking Dead.
I like regular Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead's okay, but I don't care if we tear it apart. If anyone wants to watch it and tear it apart, I don't care.
I've never seen any Walking Dead. I've never read any Walking Dead comic. I've never watched any Walking Dead TV show.
And you call yourself a nerd, a geek.
I liked Nation Z, the few episodes I saw of that.
Yes!
That was a very nice take on zombieism.
I love
walking.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with zombies. Whenever you have like a zombie outbreak, it's like, it's the science of it. It's like, what is the nature of it?
Is the formula for a TV show. It's just
Yeah, but I did enjoy the couple episodes I saw of Z Nation. That was cool because and then, what zombie movie I really liked was that one with what's his name?
Zombieland.
The bartender from Cheers.
Oh, Woody Harrelson. Yeah, that's Zombieland.
Yeah, because I like that because it's this idea that zombies. It's the idea that zombies are just a thing in the world, and that there's even like TV shows about zombies now, and everyone's like, it's like it's just the adaptation to the existence. I love any show that's about the adaptation to apocalypse rather than about apocalypse, because apocalypse is great for like the first couple weeks. Then it's like, okay, well, we're in the apocalypse, and apparently there's still not a rapture. We're still stuck in the middle of this. This is what we have to deal with. It's like global warming. It's like it's great to have a thing about the seas are rising and what are we going to do? And then it's like, okay, well, now the sea's here, so I guess we're going to have to figure out what we do now. Now we have to find a way to maintain society and carry on with our lives.
A bigger boat.
Yeah, well, either we're all going to live in, like the Jetsons. We all live in the little high-rise things to get above the pollution.
Poor Phil. All he wants to do is give us shameless plugs.
Okay. Phil, you're the one that wanted to make a podcast about everything nerdy, so you didn't have to do so many podcasts.
The Umbrella Show.
I know. It's my fault. All right. So you've heard a lot here tonight, more than you probably should have.
Got to meet my whole family.
That's right. Send in your Wonder Woman thoughts. Send in your thoughts on next week's TV, the Gotham finales coming, all of it. capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Please like us. Facebook.com/capesandlunatics. Twitter is @capeslunatics. Instagram, Capes and Lunatics. Pinterest, @Capes and Lunatics Podcast. And call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And
wait, and don't forget to like this video and share it and leave us comments below because we're YouTubers now, Phil. You gotta add that.
And that's right. And subscribe on YouTube, Capes and Lunatics.
By the way, Phil, do we have 2 Capes and Lunatics Facebook pages? Because when I try to tag us, I get 2 options. One with the old logo with the guy taking off the shirt, and one with the old Legends of DC logo, but now with all the Capes and Lunatics stuff added.
That's probably going to be the one to like.
Just the one with the new logo. Yeah, go with the one with the new logo.
Okay, I'm just saying you may want to look up, and then we may need some housekeeping on the Facebook side. That's all I'm saying, Philly. Okay, and if you would like to write to me
about being a nudist, where can they reach you, Charlie?
Hey, trust me, I'm only wearing this shirt because I'm a big fan of Frank and if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our Maz and Paz once did, write to me at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitters. Live tweet something. I don't know what. Because I didn't live tweet the Hulk night because it ain't on MeTV anymore. I didn't even live tweet Battlestar Galactica because we were doing all this stuff. So write to me, follow me on Twitter @CharlieS. So that's CharlieESSLCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality.
Every time it gets me.
I want to come up. I keep meaning to make a sign that says 2 E's.
Yes.
All right, well.
Well, if you guys want to live tweet the Gotham train wreck that they're going to call a finale, you can do that.
Join me!
@Lil Hellfire. For everything else, Adventures in FG. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and all that other social media stuff. Also, check out the website, Adventures in Fangirling. The Wonder Woman review, like a very thorough review, should be up on the website tomorrow morning. So be sure to check that out and leave me some comments. Yeah, that's all I'm going to plug, pretty much. So, I hope you've enjoyed capping off your Wonder Woman day with us. If you haven't seen the movie, please go see it. It's a good movie. It's a good superhero movie. It might surprise you. But until next time, this is the Lunatic from the Capes of Lunatics signing off. You want to say goodnight, boys?
Good night, boys.
Good one. And I'm the and.
What an ant.